My head feels fuzzy. It's hard to think. It must be morning. I feel uncomfortable and there's brightness, even though I have my eyes screwed tightly shut. Although I don't want to wake up. I'm cold and I feel a shiver run down my arm. The quilt must have slept off through the night. And it's breezy. Damn, I must have left the window open. I suppose I'll need to force myself awake so I can close the window and wrap myself in a cover. Then maybe I can snatch a bit more sleep before I need to get up. With reluctant determination, I force the corner of my right eye to open a crack. The assault of brilliance is painful, and I immediately shutter it closed and clasp my hands over my face for further protection. Something isn't right. Where's this light coming from? I feel confused. My drowsiness is abating, but I'm finding it difficult to think straight. I ease apart my fingers with one hand cupped over each eye, while venturing again to open them. Just a flicker at first, then I blink a few times and voila, they're open. Everything looks a pinkish red colour as intense brightness penetrates round and through my fingers. Ever so slowly, I'm able to withdraw my hands while positioning my head to avoid the worst of the glare. I can't make sense of it, but realise for starters that I'm not in bed. I'm not home. But where am I? And how did I get here? Gradually, as my vision comes into focus, I recognise that I'm in a clearing, surrounded by bushes and trees with the blazing sun shining through the branches. I'm lying on the ground, my bed comprising dry earth with a sparse covering of grass, weeds and leaves. And I'm naked. Completely bollock naked. Oh my God! My confusion intensifies. Where am I? What am I doing here? Why am I undressed and where are my clothes? Despite the warm rays from the sun, I'm chilled. There's a cool breeze and goosebumps cover my skin. I wrap my arms tight around me, but it provides little comfort. Sitting up, I try to think, to remember what happened and how I got here, but my mind's a blank. My brain is numb and my head hurts. Maybe it's the cold. Step 1. I must find my clothes. I get to my feet, sharpen my ears and quickly glance around me. Fortunately, there's no one in sight, and I can't hear any voices, only the sound of traffic a distance away. I try to concentrate and I scan the ground, hoping to find something to wear. At first, I see nothing. All the ground surface seems to be shades of earth and shrub, but then my eye catches what appears to be a change of colour, only a few metres away, immediately behind a rise in the ground level. I rush towards it and stop, frozen. My mouth gaped in shock. I can't believe my eyes. Lying flat on the ground, a girl, also naked. She seems to be asleep, arms resting on the ground extended to the side, long raven-coloured hair fanned behind her head. She looks vaguely familiar. I'm sure I've seen her before, but where? And who is she? As I look more carefully, I see no movement in her chest, and her eyes seem to be open a fraction. Is she alive? I shake off my lethargy and rush forward, kneeling at her side. Trying to recollect my limited first aid training, I check for vital signs. Her skin temperature feels cold, and she doesn't appear to have a pulse. I tilt her head back and lower my lips to hers, blowing air into her lungs. Only then does it occur to me to check her heart. Oh shit! I don't detect any pulse. Vying with my rising panic, bits from the training are coming back to me now. I place the heel of my hand at the centre of her chest, then place my other hand on top and press down at a steady rate of, 100 or so times per minute, breaking off every few seconds to apply a couple more rescue breaths. I look at my wrist to time what I'm doing. My watch isn't there. I shake my head in despair. Working on impulse, I move my leg across to straddle her, so I am better able to better control what I'm doing as I continue administering CPR. I'm frantic. I haven't ever seen anyone die before. My arms are tiring, and I don't know how long it is I've kept going, as I've no way to tell. It doesn't seem to have made any difference. Her body is limp and lifeless. She's not breathing, and there's no pulse. Reluctantly, I come to accept that there's nothing more I can do. The girl is dead. My eyes fill up, and my vision is blurry. A tear rolls down my cheek and drops onto her torso. I collapse onto the ground beside her and roll onto my back. My breathing is laboured from the exertion, my skin damp with perspiration, and I shiver. The sun remains bright, and there's warmth in the air. I shouldn't be cold, so why am I shivering? I must be in shock, or maybe it's fear.